The first thing a live stream will hear. Fantastic.
7 inches is a good size.
Apparently so. That's
Nice.
what I've been told anyway. I've been told 3 inches is a good size.
Luckily, it's not been recorded. Oh, yeah.
First thing a live stream will hear. Fantastic.
7 inches is a good size.
Apparently so. That's what
Nice.
I've been told anyway. Fantastic. That's got a nice little feedback loop there. Right, so that should be live now.
Oh, that's quite nice. 15.6 inches. It's a laptop monitor.
Okay.
142.
Why is that not less? There it is.
And it's an Asus one. That's quite nice.
Okay.
It's completely flat screen. Like it's just a screen. No backing on it. So you can fit it into whatever.
So
there's a second monitor.
I would actually I won't say that on the live stream. I'll tell you afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'll tell you later.
I'm intrigued now.
Yeah, don't worry. It'll be fine. You'll understand why. Okay. Should we start the show?
Yeah. Now we've said dodgy things on the live stream.
Yeah, let's actually hit record. That'd be a good idea.
Max Verstappen has taken the checkered flag
Again.
to win. That was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, not that it hasn't been done.
No, Sergio Perez.
How many times are we up to now? 9?
Oh, no, Max, that was so not
In a row.
right. Goes Leclerc. Through goes Hamilton.
Just on Amazon. Here suddenly goes, climate change friendly, climate pledge friendly. What the heck is that about? I like how I'm buying stuff for you and not me.
And at the back, that's George
I'm just
Russell
intrigued by
for
it.
this race. Danny Ricciardo makes contact there with Kevin Magnussen, and there's a second contact.
So I was praising you just before we started, saying how professional you were on Grid Talk last night, and you
Yeah.
didn't swear, and you were very, very good. And then during the title sequence, I get a nice kind of a weird look from me. I was like, "What's up?" Oh yeah, you're shopping on Amazon whilst we're running the title sequence to doing a podcast.
Yeah, well, I'm shopping for you. I'm not even
Well, you're not-
shopping for myself. I'm shopping for you.
Well, yeah, you're looking for ideas for me, but you can do that another time, not while we're live. But they're saying that I'm now unwrapping a nice little mini Toblerone, which I'm now going
Yeah.
to scoff,
So,
stick in my
like,
gob. So
yeah, welcome to the Monkeyseat. As I said, we're the dirty cousin of Grid
Yeah.
Talk.
and we haven't got Sean on this week, so
No, and we're not related, but we
Mhm.
see we are related at the same time. You know,
Mhm.
We seem to be the dodgy.
yeah, so
version.
we can now be unprofessional again.
It's self-proclaimed dirty cousin. We're not officially officiated with Grid Talk or their very clean thing, but
Mm.
we
No, we're not,
both end
but,
up
but equally, yeah, we're both involved in
Yeah.
that. Me more so than yourself, but
Yeah.
but still enough.
Look, I've done 2 Grid Talks this year. That's actually
Yes,
more than
That's quite a lot for you, actually.
that's quite a
So-
lot. You know,
yeah.
I've done quite well.
So yes, catch the Dutch Grand Prix review and the what was
Yeah.
it? The Italian Grand
No,
Prix preview.
no, the Italian.
The Italian. What did I say that? Is that what you were
Yes.
going on about?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
You just went the Italian. I was like, is he fecking American now? The Italian.
I didn't know I'd said that. I did wonder what you were talking about.
Yeah. Italian.
Okay.
Oh
well, we got
welcome to the we went to the Italian Grand Prix. I was like,
Yeah.
all right,
we and Grid Talk both have a lot of American listeners, so that's
all right. And we did have a Canadian on with us.
we did have a Canadian
So
Jonah,
there we
Soft
go.
Hard Pod. So yeah, there we go. Dutch Grand Prix. Having already previewed the Italian Grand Prix last night for Grid Talk, we're now reviewing the Dutch Grand Prix, which happened.
I know, and we're doing it. What day is it today?
It's Tuesday. Bank holiday Tuesday.
Oh yeah, well for you guys, not for us. We're on
well,
bank holiday.
Well, it was bank holiday yesterday, so I'm just opening another Toblerone. Don't mind me. It's my last one, so you won't hear any more crunching. Wow, those were going really well.
Wow, I'm dying as well. Do you know what? I had a cherry baked roll because I didn't eat lunch, and it's now gone the wrong way. So yeah,
Cool. So, I'm sorry, I should have finished eating before I did this. What a great race. Genuinely, what a ridiculous race. What's your thoughts? Do you think it was good?
I did. Obviously, the weather helped. Actually, we've had quite a few good races there. Like, I'm glad Zandvoort is back after
It's a tough track to open.
20-year break, was it? Before it came back 2 years ago?
It was the last race there was Niki Lauda's last Formula One win. which
But that's the thing, wasn't it? There's only ever been 2 winners at Zandvoort, McLaren and Red Bull.
No,
I feel that was a Sean.
No.
stat.
There's Max Verstappen's won every race since he's come back.
Yeah.
But Zandvoort was on the calendar for quite a while before then.
But I think the rumor was that it was only ever a McLaren win.
I'll have to be honest. I'm not good with the history of Zandvoort. So I tell you what. While you're doing the what car thing happens, I'm going to Google it. So
okay. I don't know. I think it was a Crofty spouting out a Sean Kelly fact.
Okay. Well, I was watching a lot of F1 TV instead of Sky, so I missed a lot of that. So okay, let's go to see what car thing happened.
Great clean start. Albon slipped back, which was a shame because he was in 4th. Alonso, and no idea who Alonso is, but according to me, there was a guy called Alonso on the track, jumping up, did great. And here comes the rain. And Ferrari not ready with the tyres for Sainz, I think it was. And then Norris, Albon, and Russell once again fecked it. Why do they not come in? We're going to discuss that. I think I know why, but again, they fecked it. Perez did the right thing and suddenly flew up. So he came in early and flew up the rankings. The rain has made this interesting, but I think it would have been an interesting race, whatever. Some still on softs, top 14 on inters. So this was the first shower that came in. And Verstappen flying, protect the tyres. Verstappen thinking, fuck that. There is more rain coming in. Lap 10, it's drying up. Are the inters wrong? Did someone go too early? Bearing in mind, Albon was doing very well on the softs. Drivers are going back onto slicks. Piastri and Albon flying on the softs. Favoritism in the Red Bull camp. Is there favoritism? Of course there is, with that tyres. Lap 15, and the rain is back. Russell being a stroppy ass, but rightly so. Can't remember why he's being stroppy, but I think it was something to do with being on the wrong tyres. Sargent hit the wall, lap 16, full safety car. I loved his response. I loved the engineer's thing. Are you okay? His response, no, I crashed. Like, Russell 3 pits, Albon none at this point. Sun's out and we're go. This lap 22, clean restart. Great move from Piastri taking Bottas and then Leclerc following Hamilton. Lap 41, Lawson takes Leclerc. Nice little battle there. Quite interesting. Albon, obviously nothing really happened between lap 22 and lap 41 in my mind. Albon still on initial softs. How? Lap 43, Leclerc tyres, which did almost sort of screw over the idea that Leclerc Lawson battle was actually a battle to be had, but who knows? It was never going to really happen if Leclerc didn't take off the new track. Lap 43, some great overtakes, but not too exciting. Lap 60, here comes the rain again. Another shit stop for Red Bull and Perez, all on inters except for Ocon and for full wet. Ocon bitching about it being on full wet, but actually was probably on the right tyre because Perez and Zhou slipping off the track there. And then Perez came in for it. VSC, Perez box, and it's red flag. He can't leave the pits. So that was a bit confusing. But Perez being the lucky boy at this point, landing in 3rd and not the 6th, where he would have been had he not done that. So because they did the recall. Is that right? We'll talk about that. Pretty uneventful restart. So bored. I am so bored of the cars following the safety car and counting them as laps. Can we talk about that? Because I'm sure there is opinions on that. Perez, 5 seconds penalty for being in the pit lane. Pretty uneventful for the rest of it. Verstappen 1, nothing changes. Alonso 2nd, surprise, and the lucky fuck Gasly getting 3rd.
Well, he had to be within 5 seconds of Perez to get that 3rd place. So
but lucky fuck. Yeah, but he didn't have that many laps to worry about at the end.
Yeah, I mean, strategy-wise, he got lucky to be in the position that he was in, but then he did manage to stay there.
What do you think Otmar's thinking there?
I don't think he's thinking a lot, to be honest. As I said before, stop clock is always right twice a day. and Alpine will get 2 podiums a year. So that's it's just one of those things that you just. Alpine seem to be able to make something out of nothing, but they are incredibly good at making nothing out of something as well.
Yeah.
So it's I don't think it's a change around. I think it's just one of those things where
you don't think the Alpines are doing anything.
No, I think the decisions they made were the right decisions, and they took some risks that worked. And that doesn't always work. But just to clarify from your point earlier,
I think that would have been what the.
I was just going to say with regards to the amount of winners and stuff. The Dutch Grand Prix has been ran 28 times. The most prolific winner is Ferrari on 8, Lotus on 6, McLaren, Red Bull have got 3 each, and then it's Talbot.
So was it the last 6? Maybe it was the last 6.
It's not the
races.
last 6 either. We've got the last 5, yes, because 1984 and 85 were won by McLaren. Okay. And that was the last 2 before this one. So 76. So yeah, you've got was it run in 83? 83 is won by Ferrari. So yeah, it'd just be the last 5. There been won by McLaren or Red Bull. So.
Okay. So that's probably the fact I heard. And
that probably is what you heard, yeah. But that's that. But anyway, yeah. So back to the race and back to Gasly, I guess. Mm-hmm. Anything more you want to add on Gasly from that?
Like, do you think like whatever would have happened with the Alpine, the top jobs that have been switched around, I don't think would have changed anything anyway, because the Alpine are just as the Alpine people that discussing the strategy at that point haven't changed. No,
I don't think it's made a blind bit of difference, the change in management to that. I think it's just, I mean, the new guy, Bruno Famin, I think it is, he seems to be a bit more sort of there and supportive, unlike Rossi that would just go around and shout at people and stuff. So that's going to be positive. So they're probably in a good headspace because Rossi's gone. I'm not sure that's made a lot of difference with Otmar.
Yeah,
but I think it's just one of those things. Like I said, it's they're on a new journey now, and getting that early
journey. Do you want to get off podium, the fucking Facebooks?
Do you want to get off that early podium? That's fine. That's great. It's a good start. So
they've had a couple of good races.
I've just let this cat in so he shuts up, but now he's just doing laps of the room. Right. Get that, mate. All right. Yeah, so that was decent from Alpine. I think McLaren really had the pace.
We say it's decent from Alpine. Ocon still ended up in fucking 10th.
Yeah, it's a double points finish though, which, let's be honest, Alpine
behind Albon. Let's just point out behind Albon.
Albon had good pace all weekend, but yeah, I mean it's still a double points finish, which is something that they don't often do. I mean, Alpine have got a grand total of 73 points. They scored 16 just this weekend. So that's a good haul of points considering their average points haul. Yeah. And they got slightly closer to McLaren, which has got to be their new target. Finishing 5th, but getting as close to 4th as possible. I just think McLaren has now just got a better car. I can't see them catching McLaren now.
Is McLaren going to end up in 4th?
I think McLaren will finish where McLaren are now.
Which is where?
In 5th. I think that's.
You don't think they'll catch the Aston? No, they catch the Ferraris.
They're 90 points behind Ferrari, and they're 114 points behind Aston Martin. Yes, I think they've got a better car, and their peaks are now going to be higher than Ferrari and Aston Martin. I do think Ferrari have a better car than the points suggest, but Ferrari, so we know what's going to happen there. But I just can't see. I think there's too many points. That means McLaren have to nail it every week. And the last 2 races, they haven't nailed it. They've still come away with decent points, but they've not nailed it. They need to be getting podiums every single week if they're going to get anywhere near Ferrari and Aston Martin. And I think they're just too fast for that. So I think McLaren will finish where they are. They'll probably be 30, 40 points behind either Ferrari or Aston Martin, whoever comes 4th. Yeah. But they'll be closer, but they need another 5 or 6 races if they're going to have, be anywhere near them, to be honest, in my opinion. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. Yeah. It'd be amazing if they would, somehow finish 3rd, but it's not going to happen.
I think, you'd have to have Ferrari and Aston Martin just to bottom out for a while, be 11th and 12th.
To be fair, they probably will switch focus to next year if they haven't already. But then again, so will McLaren, to be honest,
Yeah.
because if they're safe in that 5th place and they haven't really got a realistic chance of 4th, I can't see them ploughing too much more into this year. They're probably quite close to the cost cap anyway, so I think they'll probably stick a pin in it now for this year and focus on next year.
Yeah,
I think so anyway.
and keep and the challenge of keeping Lando. But now he's got a decent car. I think they will keep Lando and Piastri. I don't think there's any chance of them going anywhere.
I still think that Piastri is the future of McLaren, not Lando.
Silly season hasn't been doing much.
No, not really. I mean, the Haas is confirmed they're two, unspectacular drivers. Great. But
yeah, but it's a safe thing. It's a safe bet for everyone. It's not.
It's boring though, isn't it? But there's nothing else out there really. At the moment, we seem to have got into a situation where we no longer rely on pay drivers. We've got rid of Latifi. Is now Stroll isn't a pay driver. He's a nepotism project. So until Lawrence Stroll walks away, Lawrence Stroll will remain in Formula 1.
Still, and there was rumor about him leaving because
Zhou
can't
is
afford to stay.
Well, sorry, I'm just going to try and get this cat off me because he's being annoying. Zhou does bring a lot of funding to Alfa Romeo, and now with the Audi backing, they don't necessarily need that, but he is still there on performance at the moment. But it's just he's back again. It's just who do they put in who's better? And there seems to be a bit of a lack at the moment. Nobody is a standout in F2. There's nobody who has dropped out of the sport that can come back in realistically. And now they've pushed out the pay drivers. There just seems to be a lack of overall overqualified people to be in F1. You've got Drugovic would be, fine but unremarkable. Stoffel Van Dorn knocking on the door, potentially deserves another shot for a couple of seasons.
Yeah, but he's stuck in Aston at the moment.
But again, that's the thing. It's they're not gonna. You don't have an Oscar Piastri sitting there waiting to come into F1. Nobody seems to want to win the F2 title at the moment. It's no one seems to be taking a hold of that and saying I'm going to take charge of this championship. There's nobody really coming through in F3 who looks absolutely phenomenal. So it's just a kind of a bit of a holding pattern at the moment while they wait for the next big thing to come in. Yeah. And I thought that was going to be I thought
at the top.
Yeah,
but
I thought it was going to be Pourchaire. I thought it was going to be Pourchaire. I'm not going to lie.
He had a shit weekend, didn't he?
He did, and again he made a mistake. He looked like he could have. He had a really bad qualifying, and then the sprint race being cancelled fell into his hands. But then in the race, he was looking like all the other title contenders were out, and then he ended up binning it. And then Vesti's wheels fell off literally the next lap. Which was hilarious.
Quite funny. If the back wheels literally fell off.
If you don't watch Formula 2, firstly, watch Formula 2. It's epic.
Even I watch it now because I find.
Secondly, if you want a podcast about Formula 2, if you want a podcast about Formula 2, go and listen to Formula Talk on the Grid Talk channel because Tom and Sophia do a great job of that. And just watch it. It's just great. But if you look at the Dutch Grand Prix, go for Frederick Vesti, wheels. I don't know, just wheels fall off. Or sorry, he comes out of the pits and just
they've got a bit of a wobble as he's coming out the pits. Let's be honest.
And then both rear wheels just fall off, and he just stops.
I don't know how both of them fell off. I can understand if you don't get one on them. Well, how did both the rear guys managed to effect that up that both of them fell off? I just don't understand it. It's quite funny.
So you wanted to talk about the safety car, and it seems like a good opportunity to do that because we have a certain Ruby Price in the chat who's been throwing some.
Oh, is she? I didn't even realize. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't even realize anyone knew we were live.
So let's see.
Because we're so early.
We are early for a change. Let's see what she says. So laps under the safety car counting as laps makes sense for the sake of fuel levels, but I do agree it can be annoying because hang on, less racing.
Yeah. Okay, I get that, Ruby. I totally get that. But why do we need in the world of modern cars and in modern motor racing, where we have street sweepers, where we have lots of vehicles that can move water quite quickly, there must be a way of moving water quicker than sending 20 Formula 1 cars around. I'm sorry, I know they remove a bath load per second or whatever bollocks they want to come up with. But I can't understand as to why they need to be sent round to then cut the laps. Send something else around. Send 20 Porsche turbos around or whatever. I don't care what. Or some Send a fucking rubbish bin round. Do you know what I mean? Send a rubbish lorry round.
That's
There
going
must
to be
be.
incredibly slow.
Do you know what?
It's going to displace no water, and it's going to take an hour to do it.
Send 200 bicycles round.
That's not going to do anything.
If you're in Dandruff, like, just send some. There must be some way of clearing those waters than rather than sending a feck load of Formula One cars running
safety,
out. I get the safety.
Yeah, the safety element of it as well, in the giving them 2 laps behind the safety car to get their eye in, understand the conditions, and then go racing. I'm fine with that if it means people aren't going to crash and die. So I think that's fine.
But what I don't like is fill your cars up that you can do that. Fill your cars up for the race, not underfill them and fucking lift and coast. That really pisses me off. Fill them up, have a limit as to have a minimum limit per racetrack. Okay, you need to fill in 700 litres. I'm just picking out random numbers.
That's
700 litres, that'd be an oil tanker going behind. But
you're looking at about 110 kilos. About 110 kilos. They go by weight, not by volume.
Okay.
Because the volume changes depending on the temperature. So they go by weight.
Fine. Fill it up with 200k. Do you know? And make it that
that's going to be a fat Formula One car that's going to be so.
But do you know
slow,
what?
So sluggish, so horrible.
What do you want? How much kilos did you say?
110 is what they put in at the moment.
Put in 150.
They actually removed the limit. That's
the problem.
The fuel. They removed the limit for the fuel because people were underfueling it all the time. So now they've removed that limit so people can overfuel because people are underfueling to save on weight.
No, the minimum limit should be what that you can get round the whole track, as well as putting in 4 laps of safety car. Like, I can understand it if something comes off.
I think we're trying to make the cars lighter, not heavier.
No, but why?
Because the cars are so much better looking and so much better to drive when they're lighter because they're just so sluggish when they're full of fuel.
Formula One is all about, fast cars, I get that. But it's also about technology, and they can make other things lighter for fuel. We drive around cars that are worth 3.5 tons. Do you know what I mean? Like, cop on. You need to be able to, these cars need to be able to not sit behind a safety car and count it as laps because of the fuel, and some didn't. And then lift and coasting, which is actually not really giving us any decent racing because everyone literally we had 20 laps on for Sunday where it got very boring because everyone was fuel saving because of the tires, and playing around with tires.
I genuinely don't think fuel was any limiting factor this weekend at all. It was all about I think tires.
It was with the fact
I think it was all about tires, and because they would have been fueling those cars up to do a race in dry conditions just in case the race was dry. As soon as you've got rain on the track, they don't push the loud pedal as much, and they're feathering the throttle a lot more, and you use a hell of a lot less fuel on a wet track. What you find is all those cars will have loads of fuel left in them at the end of the race. So I don't think fuel was an issue this weekend. What they were doing was trying to make those intermediates last as long as possible. What?
I'm just laughing at Ruby's discussion.
About having 50 marshals with leaf blowers. But
exactly. It's greener, battery powered. Perfect.
It's fine. I'm fine with a couple of laps here and there, but then red flag it. The drainage is really good at Zandvoort, so that's fine. I think a few laps. I mean, they only threw the safety car for conditions for a few laps, so I don't have any major issues with what they did with regards to the safety car this time around. If you've got a big portion of that race, if you're going to be running more than 5 to 7 laps behind the safety car, I'm of the opinion, red flag it, fix the problem, and then you don't lose all the racing. I remember when I went to Silverstone in 2011, I want to say, and it was
the year that up for you.
No, it's not a big thing going to Silverstone. It wasn't there anyway. That's when it was cheap as chips to go because no bugger wanted to go. But Raikkonen hit the barrier, and the barrier needed to be repaired, and then they red flagged it after about 10 laps behind the safety car, and I was so relieved. I'm like, oh good, I get more racing, and so I was like, let this red flag go on as long as it wants, because you're there, you're at the event, it's beautiful weather, and it just makes the event last longer. So I was happy for that red flag to last as long as possible. So I'm all for. I don't want competition red flags. 3 laps from the end, if there's a safety car, just finish it behind the safety car. It's fine, but don't do a red flag with 2 laps to go just for the sake of it. But if you're going to have a long period behind the safety car that's going to take away the racing, red flag it, get him in the pits, fix the problem, then send them out. One
Maybe
lap
I'm going
behind
to
the
be
safety car.
extreme with 2 laps. Like I can barely.
Yeah,
cope
if they were
2
driving
laps,
around, like if this was the situation like in Spa where they're driving around for 10 laps behind the safety car, waiting for the conditions to be good enough to race, don't do that.
No.
Just red flag it.
Yeah, I sort of agree.
No, I agree. I agree on that. But this one, I had no issues with what they did.
Although leaf blowers, electric, green, perfect. Let's get all the marshals out. Instead of fecking dancing, they should be cleaning the track.
Yeah. So,
and instead they're all too busy dancing.
Should we not touch on? Let's not touch on the whole thing about how bad for the environment lithium batteries are. Let's skirt away from that, and the fact that electrification is actually killing the planet, not saving it. But we'll skirt away from that. It's all just greenwashing. But anyway, bring back the V10 engines. Bring back the V10 engines and give everyone.
Wow.
That's going to be the best thing for the environment.
No, best thing for the environment, hydrogen.
There's bad elements to hydrogen as well.
What's the bad element apart from transport, which is dangerous? That is the problem.
Also the creating of the system itself and extracting the hydrogen isn't a carbon neutral process at the moment, and it's also very unsafe and volatile.
You should watch Guy Martin's power trip.
Don't get me wrong, I think hydrogen is the future of the motor car, but I think there's a different solution for all kinds of different things. I think motorsport electrification is not the way for motorsport, not the long-term solution. I'm fine with a bit of electrification, but not full electrification.
Yeah, I agree, Rubes. It does go boom, and that's part of the problem. But I think it will. There is hydrogen is lighter than air, which will make your car lighter. It does go boom quite a lot. I saw that at the Science Museum actually this week. They talking about rocket powers, and they had a hydrogen balloon and a helium balloon, and they exploded the hydrogen boom, and wow, it went boom.
But also hydrogen, if they can make it safe, it's the most abundant element on the planet. It will never run out. So it's definitely the future for me. Yeah. But whether we can get that working in Formula One, certainly the short-term future of Formula One for me, sustainable fuels is the way to go.
But then what is interesting? Sorry, this has gone on some random tangent now. What is interesting is the fact you can get biofuels now. Okay, I'm sure there is going to be comeback from the biofuel. Basically, the fact that we should be eating the grain and not burning it. But the biofuels now are 94% less CO2 emissions and less nitrous oxide. Yeah. And actually, we're running a lot of trucks in the film industry with those now. With biofuels. And
also as well, the biofuels, what they're trying to do is create biofuels from non-edible sources. So you're not taking food away, you're taking
it's all the byproducts.
Yeah, it's all the composting stuff. And that's what's going to save it. As long as you're not taking food out of people's mouths to run your sports car, that's fine.
We could run it off methane. That'd be quite interesting. Anyway.
Yeah. But I think
we're probably shitting yourself into.
Now we've just saved the planet. I think we should probably move away from that. So Ferrari fucked up again.
Oh, Ferrari!
It was the right decision for Leclerc to pit, but Ferrari weren't ready. And I heard them saying it was Leclerc was defending the decision, saying it was the right decision because we would have lost more time if I'd gone out. It's like, okay, that's fine, but Perez would ahead of you on track.
Yeah,
Perez didn't have a problem in the pit stop.
No,
they were ready for him. They were ready for him. There was no reason for Ferrari not to be ready for him.
No.
So,
it was quite a late call, and that was I was trying.
Yeah, but it was just as late for Perez, and he was further ahead on the track than Leclerc. So they would have both had the conditions at the same time. So Red Bull had less time to react than Ferrari did. Red Bull were ready. Ferrari fuck up.
Yeah. It was completely Ferrari fuck up because Ferrari, and actually, apart from. I was going to say, actually, the Ferrari drivers did well this week. No, they didn't. Leclerc found a new track. He created a new track for himself and loved going off on the runoff. But yeah, I think Sainz was very strong this week and deserved to be in third. Shame he didn't get it.
Yeah, I was hoping he was going to get third. But...
Yeah, shame he didn't get it. But yeah, I think he should have done. he should have got the third personally. But Ferrari, like it's always with them. It's just painful. They are going to get so owned next weekend if they feck up. The Tifosi are going to go. Like, why do the Tifosi support Ferrari? Like, seriously, lads, I know Italians are born to moan, but like, maybe I've just I've just insulted the whole nation there. But like, why do they support the local team? I mean, I suppose I'm lucky. I've got quite a few local teams. Oh no, I don't. I don't have any in Ireland. But like, why do they support a team that just can't sort themselves out? And the Italian media fucking hate them as well, seemingly.
Very similar to what the British media used to be like with the England football team. It's like every opportunity they get, they would just do something. But yeah, it's Ferrari. Just it's very much a partisan atmosphere, and the press and the weight of a nation is on that team, but not just the weight of any nation, because you have the same thing with other teams in other nations and other drivers, but an incredibly expectant nation as well.
Yeah.
So,
But I can't imagine the Dutch being too pissed off if Max doesn't win a race. Do you know what I mean? Or there's a fuck up, but like the whole.
I don't know. It's been so long since he hasn't won a race. I don't know what they'll be like.
Or the Haas. The Americans aren't going to go crazy at the Haas because they're Haas.
It's not really a national team, though. To be fair, I think it's a poor excuse for a team who won, and it's not really a national.
The rest
team.
are all British. I mean, the Austrian. You could call Red Bull Austrian, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, based in Austrian team, based in Britain.
Do you know what I'm looking for?
In Austria.
I loved it. Did you notice? Was it? Yeah, it was this race, wasn't it? That they had someone live singing the Austrian national anthem.
Yes, I saw that.
Because they knew what happened if someone else went. That's what I would have loved.
It was the Dutch one, wasn't it? I think the Austrian one was recorded. The Dutch one was.
Oh, was it Dutch? Okay.
Yeah.
So what would have happened if someone else would have won? I'm guessing it wouldn't have been live. They would have had to just.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
But it's just like.
I think it's because it was in Holland as well. So.
Yeah, and it was quite cool. But Jesus, can you now imagine that? There's in every country there's someone waiting just in case the home nation wins. But yeah, I did like the expectation, and I suppose because it is Italian, but then so are Toro Rosso, and no one's really worrying about them.
Mm-hmm. But they're effectively going to be British next year, I think. Or
why? What's the rumor you're hearing?
I think they're going to be Austrian registered, but basically they're looking at scaling back and removing the Fiorano part of AlphaTauri.
Is that because it gets flooded? Sorry, is that too soon?
No. They're looking at scaling back that side of things and moving it to the UK, closer to Milton Keynes, and basically just turning it into
like everyone else,
complete junior team to Red Bull. Basically, just taking as many parts as they can, like the Haas model, basically taking as many parts as they can from Red Bull, and just making as minimum as possible to basically make it a profitable enterprise, and
just sell it or just let Andretti take it.
What I just don't like is that the rumors about like Hugo Boss being the team that are going to basically rebrand.
You mean the Hitler brand?
I don't know about that, but and I'm not going to comment on that. But,
Hugo Boss was the company that designed all the uniforms for the Nazis.
Oh well, yeah.
Famously,
people got to look nice. That's fine.
I mean, to be fair, if you ever see a proper real Nazi uniform, I've seen a few. They are so well made by Hugo Boss. They are really well made.
Yeah. But so the rumor is it's going to be called something like Boss Bulls Racing. Yeah. Yeah.
Boss Bulls Racing.
Yeah. I'm just going to let that sit for a bit. Yeah. So they are going to be my least favorite team. They're already on my least favorite team, but they're going to be, I'm going to absolutely despise them if that's what they go with. Yeah. Boss Bulls Racing. Yeah. Right. So Ruby confirms, yes, it was definitely Max. We're just gonna anything that happens in this podcast, we're just gonna fact check with Ruby now.
Yeah.
So yes, it was the national anthem, Max's national anthem.
Yeah.
Avatar also going to have as many rebel plots as permitted. Carl's reaction should be
default reaction to
be
possible.
the default reaction to possible. And I've got to find an excuse to play this. So there's thank you to all your comments, Ruby. The second voice you're about to hear is Ruby's.
I run!
Oh shit.
I run! I run!
Oh shit.
I run!
That's from one of our gaming sessions.
That's not me. Sounds like me,
Yeah,
weirdly.
it does.
Even though
Tom
it's
Dowdy.
Welsh.
That's from one of our gaming sessions when Tom and Aaron came together. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I thought when you said that to me first of all, I was like, has Tom and Aaron had an argument? What's going on there?
came to blows.
No. Yeah, I was like, what's going on there? No. They're just having a Formula One race on PC or whatever on it.
Yeah, and Ruby's reaction was the best. Oh shit!
Oh shit! I don't know. She sounds American on it. I'm sorry, Rubes. Oh shit!
That was not American. That was a really weird hybrid Irish. You sound like your son.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he doesn't sound like that anymore, does
No,
he?
he
Dom?
doesn't. He doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Ah, Jesus!
Yeah.
That's where me. So myself and my boy Killian went to England last weekend.
And we were together.
And we were actually together.
We were going to podcast
and
about it, but Killian didn't want to.
And then we got no, and it was all about Killian. So, but we went to Legoland, and my boy he's got a bit of an Irish accent, but he's still got holding on to his English accent. But then there's words that come out, and we went on to one of the rides on Legoland. I think it was the water flume ride.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway,
might be.
Jesus!
Jesus! I was like, oh dear God, I really have got an Irish boy. Yes, Ruby, I should get Formula 1 2023. Once I get into my new house, once I get a gaming PC, once I get PlayStation sorted and the internet sorted, I might think about it. But I'm too busy playing Hogwarts Legacy, and I haven't really. You've
promised your boy a PlayStation 5 anyway, so you got no excuse.
Does it have to be PlayStation 5? Can I play on PlayStation 4?
No, you can play on crossplay. You can play on any system. But
okay,
you promised your boy.
I've got PlayStation 4 at the moment.
Yeah, I think it does run on PlayStation 4.
Okay, there we go.
I think.
I don't know.
I could be wrong.
But that
on
would
that.
require, like, Ruby, me driving around on those tracks, I wouldn't go, like, I just hit the wall.
Yeah. Fantastic. Right, should we talk some more about F1?
Sorry.
What else have we got?
Jesus.
So we've spoken about Red Bull. We haven't really spoken about Mercedes. So how hard did you laugh at George Russell at the end?
Quite hard. Like, he's such a little moany git, isn't he? Actually, he was rightly so moany git.
Yeah, I because obviously they didn't show it. That's one thing that's really got my goat this weekend, which I'll save that for our Dick of the Day conversation. Okay. But we didn't see Russell and Norris come together, so I went back and watched the onboards on both of them, and it's literally just like Norris came alongside. They were side by side. They just kind of pinched each other. It was 100% a racing incident, unlike the time me and Ruby came together on F1 23 the other day. That was definitely your fault.
I don't want to know about you and Ruby coming together.
Yeah, no, definitely not. But yeah, so that was I'm just gonna start over that. So that was definitely a racing incident. There was nothing to be had on that.
Set them up.
Just an unlucky thing that led to a puncture. But the fact that it's just like, I'm out, but it's like, well, clearly it's just a puncture. Why do you think you're out? Just get in and change the tires and go back out again. So
it was quite funny. He just
and
went,
a strong call from Hamilton as well. A strong race from Hamilton. Bad calls from the team all round, and Hamilton rescued a decent result. Russell was going to rescue a decent result as well, despite some bad Mercedes calls. They had a really bad weekend.
Can we stop talking about bad things and talk about good things?
Okay.
Williams Racing Team. That
was phenomenal. Really, really good performance.
I don't like Vols or whatever his name is.
James Vowles.
As in Constance and Vowles, yeah. Consonants and Vowles. I don't know what he's doing in that team, but something's right.
He definitely seems to be making a strong impact.
Yeah. And I really love, I think I really like him. I really love the team at the moment. I was saying this to Laura. I said, from my glory supporting ways, if Williams now starts kicking up, I'm tempted to become a Williams fan purely. Like, I'm a bit of a Williams fan. They're definitely my second team, but over McLaren.
They're everyone's second team.
But purely because they have better better outfits and better clothes, and I'll happily wear a Williams top rather than the bright orange McLaren fucking top. Or papaya. Let's call it papaya because it's not orange. Yeah, right. It's fucking orange. Anyway, so hopefully Williams stay true to their work, true to their colours of the dark blue, because I quite like it. But yeah, I agree with Ruby. Williams are a team on the up, and I think that, I mean, they've been on the down for a long time. Whether they're going to be progressing to top league up, I don't know. I think they're going to be coming. I mean, if you look at the standings at the moment for drivers, you know, Albon's best of the rest in 13th at the moment. You know, that's from memory from yesterday. I think he's 13th.
Yes, he is 13th. Only 15 points, but yeah, so he's behind.
But he's best of the rest.
The McLarens, the Alpines, the Mercedes, the Ferraris, the Astons, and the Red Bulls.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's the best. Thing is, at the moment, Williams aren't 7th in the championship. Albon is 7th in the championship. And the same way that Verstappen is winning the constructors for Red Bull, Albon has scored every single point for that Williams team.
I mean, the problem is, Sargent had a bad weekend. According to Vols, his second off wasn't Vols.
Yeah.
His second off wasn't his fault. It was the brake by wire or something went, didn't it? Or brake pressure or something went.
Yeah.
Fly by wire brake pressure.
But the first one in qualifying was him though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He was just lucky he'd already put in a lap to get him into Q3. So
but he was flying to get into Q2. Do you know what I mean? He was doing really well.
Yeah.
He just fecked it, which was a shame because he fecked it. But actually, they've definitely got qualifying pace.
It's going to be an interesting race this weekend for them.
I do wonder. It feels like, and I might be very wrong, feels like the Williams and the McLarens are slightly in cahoots. Maybe I'm.
No, I don't think so.
It just feels like the same car. Do you know what I mean?
They've got the same power unit.
But they've got the same. They must have the same philosophy, and whatever that philosophy is. I mean, because they're very similarly going up in the same style. Do you know what I mean? On those fast cornered circuits.
Yes and no. I mean, McLaren have definitely moved towards the Red Bull philosophy, whereas Williams did that last year. So I think McLaren have jumped Williams in that sense. But yeah, they do seem to be movable. But I think Williams.
Is that just how it is?
Williams have been sniping for points all season. They've been regularly scoring points every other race or every third race. I mean, let's have a look at the Constructors' Championship, where they've been scoring points. So Williams they scored points in Bahrain, and then they didn't score any points until Canada, and then they got Silverstone, and then Netherlands. So yeah, the second half of the first half of the season, they scored more points than they did at the beginning.
You mean
how they had a 10th place in the first race?
What was that the other week? That was the second half of the first half or something. So you mean the second? You mean the second quarter of the season?
Yeah.
Let's just call it that. Second half the first half.
So in the last 6 races, they've had 3 points finishes.
Okay.
So So they've had an 8th, an 8th, and a 7th in the last 6 races. So yeah, it's been the last 6 races that they've really come together. But the best result was Canada 7th. But even then, they've had 11th in Austria. They've had 11th in Hungary. So they've been close. They've been sniping for points.
Yeah. And it's like, I feel like they are best of the rest at the moment. And I think it'd be interesting to see if Albon stays there. I hope he does. I hope he doesn't go back to Red Bull.
I don't think there's any other big team that would be in for him right now. I think it'd be 2026 would be a big one. I think 25 or 26.
Okay, here we go. I think he's going to go to the Alfa Romeos.
The rumor is Sainz. The rumor is Sainz. I don't think Joe will be there anyway by then. I think Joe might get next year. But I think
so. What I think Sainz and Albon. That'd be great, actually.
That would be a strong lineup. That would be a very strong lineup.
I think that seems to make the most sense if Lando Norris isn't going into that seat. And I don't think you're going to have a Lando Norris Sainz again. We've been there, done that.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't think that Williams are a long way away from challenging for victories. So I think Albon will stay with them for the next couple of years, definitely. But I think beyond that, he'll be looking for a big move if he's still performing the way he is.
Yeah.
And Lando wants to win races and championships. If McLaren are winning races regularly, then I think he'll stay.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're not, then I think he'll be gone. And to be honest, he'll be courted by Ferrari. He'll be courted by Mercedes. He'll be courted by.
But the only thing that Red Bull needs is Red Bull. The only thing that Red Bull needs is one bad season where their car fucks up. We saw it with Mercedes. They went down the wrong path. I think what the interesting thing that will happen is when Newey leaves or retires, because he's going to have to soon. He's getting old. He's not a young chicken anymore.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he looks younger than he actually is. But once Newey leaves, I don't think there is, at the moment, there's not a car designer that can match him.
No, but again, it's not just him that designs the cars. There's
but he's but he's still the management of it. Do you know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah.
There's no one.
Yeah, he's definitely steering the ship. It's when he goes, I think they'll probably be fine for a couple of years, and then they'll start to decline.
Yeah,
unless they can get someone else.
I think that we're not looking too far away. I think Red Bull have 2 or 3 years left at the top.
If they don't nail the regulations in 26, then I think Max will probably be on his way after that.
What are the big regulations in 26?
It's all engine related. There will be more other stuff as well, but they're getting rid of the NGUH.
Oh, is this when Ford comes in as well?
Yeah, and Audi and hopefully.
And there's
GM
a new
Motors
design on the back as well. The back wing gets completely redesigned.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be changing. But
are they getting mud flaps?
No, they're not getting mud flaps.
No, they're not anymore.
No, that test fundamentally failed. So I'm not saying they won't do. They
need to sort out the wet tire bollocks. That pisses me off as well.
Yeah, I still think that there could be something where they just attach something that you got the wheel spinners on the that are built into the wheel rims. Yeah. I'm sure they could have something that's attached to the rim of a wet tire, so that when you put it on, that every car has to accommodate space for this extra aerofoil to slot into place, whether it's something that fits around the back of the tire or something. And then obviously that means that, when they're putting the tires on, they're going to have to be more careful because they've got these extra like winglets and stuff on the tires. I'm sure there's something that they could put on there that just sends the water down and out to the side. That's all they need to do. I say it's still incredibly difficult, but it's not just the tires. It's the diffuser as well, because the way that these regulations are designed was to send the air above the car to decrease the wake and allow them to follow. They've done that, but the trouble is now that sends all the spray in the air. If the water isn't a problem, it's the spray. It doesn't matter if they deflect all the water back onto the track and it doesn't displace the water. That doesn't matter because the tires can cope with the water. They can't cope with but the cars can't cope with the spray. So if they keep the water on the track to spray it to the side, that's fine, because they can still drive in that, because there won't be as much spray.
Yeah.
But should we do our driver and dick of the day?
Yeah.
Cool. Right. So driver of the day. Who's your nomination?
I can't remember who I said for Grid Talk.
Well, I said Lawson for Grid Talk, but I'm going to change that for this.
Yeah, Lawson was great. I probably will go Albon, because it was a safe drive and he did all that length on those soft tires and it was sensible and he didn't do anything stupid. So windscreen wipers and visors. Sorry. You might as well go full halo unit, full aero unit and stick a windscreen wiper on the front of it. So I probably will go Albon, because he is pretty good.
Yes,
I don't know if there's no one else really impressed me.
For me, I'm gonna go with something that's a little obvious, but also not. I'm actually going to say Max Verstappen, because the reason I say that is because those conditions were horrendous, and I know he's in the best car, But,
Yeah.
you know, Perez spun off. Perez hit a wall. Perez sped in the pit lane. Max Verstappen didn't do any of that stuff. Max Verstappen was absolutely phenomenal. And then when the team made the call for him not to come in, well, Perez made the call to come in. Very few people came in. Max Verstappen was the first car hitting these conditions. So he would have had less time than anyone to make a decision on that.
Yeah.
When he did make the decision to come in, he was 14 seconds behind Perez, and the speed that he was catching up to him, absolutely just unbelievable. He was thrown at safety car conditions, a red flag, a restart with 7 laps to go. Everything he did was dominant, and he is officially on my driver ratings the first driver to get a 10 score at any rate race this season. I did try and put Lando Norris for a 10 in a race, but you talked me down to a 9. So
he did a great job. And there was
However, Fernando Alonso gets a 9. I think Alex Albon got a 9 as well. Yes, Alex Albon's got a 9 as well. So it's a very high scoring week for drivers that did well. So yeah, Max Verstappen gets my first 10. So that's why he is my driver of the day. Now, my dick of the day. I've got mine, so I'm going to go straight away if you don't mind.
Go on.
Fucking Formula One.
Why?
In the most exciting race of the season, must we have 5 minutes of replays 6 laps into a race that's changeable conditions, when people are coming in making pit stops and there's action left, right, and centre? Why do I want to see 5 fucking replays? Sorry, I'm angry about this. So, Formula One, you are the dick of the day. Anyway.
Oh,
sorry, I got a bit animated there.
Yeah, you turned into me for once. Chill the cax. Who was dick of the day? The Ferrari. Just Ferrari. Like, I'm bored of it, but Ferrari. Like I get your issue with Formula One and the replays. And I don't know how they manage that. You know, I don't know who's thinking that we want to see 20 replays. Although
it's millennials that have got no attention span. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So it just alienated half of our audience.
Yeah. And it's those old fuddy-duddies that have no idea what the fuck's going on. There's the other half done.
Yeah. See, we're the kind of people that will talk about Test cricket and how, you know, we want 15 FA Cup replays and stuff. No, I'm not quite that bad. But so I won't bother going through the standings, particularly. I mean, yeah, it's all pretty much as it was. No change. Everyone's kind of getting a little bit spread out. Now, the only difference is Williams have pulled away a little bit in that 7th place. And then, Max Verstappen winning by a country mile. Perez comfortably in second, still over Alonso, although Alonso has closed in on him a little bit. Hamilton, then Sainz has moved back ahead of Leclerc, and Russell is still level with Leclerc after 3 races now of like them not scoring heavily. So that's kind of it really for us. We're back again next weekend for the Italian Grand Prix. So looking forward to that one. Anything you want to add before we go?
No. Feck knows when we'll be on, but when the next one is, but we'll work that one out later.
Yeah, cool. Well, thank you very much to everyone on the live stream, aka Ruby. And
we weren't even meant to really be on live stream. We discussed them going on.
Yeah, it's all fine. It's all good. So anyway, we will see you all next week.
All right. Speak to you later. Bye, Ruby.
Bye. So have you bought that 7-inch one yet?
No, I don't know. I've seen bigger and there's less power on ones. Like, I don't know.
Bigger.
And there's Raspberry Pi ones that are cheap.
Raspberry Pi 7-incher.